Let's move on to question number 3. According to the Early Childhood Needs Assessment prepared by the Eagle County Early Childhood Cabinet, kindergarten and first grade teachers report that one of three children entering school is not emotionally or socially prepared. An even greater number are not academically ready to learn. What role should public funding play to better prepare children for their K through 8 education? And we'll start with Tom this time.
Well, I think when we're talking about, I guess I'm having a hard time understanding the question. When we're talking about K through 8 education, I think we're talking about schools. If you're talking about preparing them for that before they go K through 8, I think that we have some agencies in the Valley that are working very hard to do that. We have an issue on the ballot right now that promotes early childhood learning. I personally feel that issue is not something that should be paid for by the taxpayers, but should be something that's done by the volunteer organizations that are doing it now, and not be set up as a grant in the county for to be given to these volunteer organizations. But as far as K through 8 education, I think that needs to be the responsibility of the citizens of this county and of the state. And I think we need to support education, and I'm definitely in favor of, for that matter, I'm voting for 3B, which is for the school bond issue. So that's.
Roger?
My wife has a child care facility, so I've been able to see firsthand the problems that are alluded to in this question. It's a complex problem because many of the children are Hispanic, and their families are not contributing through taxes to pay for this effort. So one has to ask if we pass these child care provisions, are people freeloading on the system? My own feeling is that because they're kids, we should support it everywhere we can, and so I'll vote for both of the amendments that are up for the referendum.
Sarah?
The assessment, there was a year-long assessment done that the county sponsored and financed to take place. And over 100 local officials or local individuals that are involved in education, early childhood services, health services, and a variety of different, and people from the business world, from the educational world, all joined together. And I believe there were about 100 people that contributed to the study. And they indeed found that, I think that, and I'm not sure if I have the numbers absolutely correct, but somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7,000 children in our valley that are between the ages of newborn to 5-6 years old. And the statement there is that children are entering into kindergarten without being well prepared mentally and emotionally or ready to be educated. And this is certainly a huge issue. And what the study has identified is that and what the professionals in the fields have identified, the absolute importance of children being well prepared. The ballot initiative 1A, which is the early childhood development, that's asking for a set amount of money. I think it's about $3.5 million a year that will go to establish programs, establish priorities, see the needs, make funds available to nonprofits, to private enterprise organizations, build and create daycare centers, train and educate teachers, provide certification programs for other daycare providers, so that we can have children that are better prepared, that and teachers and daycare providers that understand the needs of children, so that these children can be prepared when it's time time to go to kindergarten, and we in turn can have a much more successful experience for them as they go on through their schooling.
Thank you. We go to question number 4. Eagle County recently implemented a green building code called EcoBuild that hopes to influence the quality and efficiency of new residential construction in unincorporated Eagle County. What is your position on EcoBuild, and what role should the county play in regulating green building? And we will start with Roger.
I'm 100% for it and support it completely. It's a good start. I think as time goes by, we can probably do more with it. I think it should be incentive-based as much as possible rather than regulatory. In other words, tax breaks if you use solar energy or other kinds of renewable resource energy to heat your home or provide electricity. So to answer your question, it's a good program. I support it 100%. I hope we go further.
Sarah, same question.
The Eco Plan is built on a point system, and the number of points that are required varies on the number of square feet in the home. For an average home in Eagle County, and they consider an average home, I believe, around 3,000 square feet. It's a requirement of earning 50 points to receive the rebate on your building permits that you qualify for. And in talking with some of the planners from the county and reviewing the specifics, it's not terribly cumbersome to reach that 50 points just by using good windows, having a higher quality insulation. Some of the basic things that are actually becoming more commonplace. One of the burdens that it places, in its infancy that it places on people is having the materials available here. The recycle process is available to recycle construction materials. Some of the fundamentals, and those are being worked on as the requirements are being enforced. As you get into bigger houses, when you're talking about an 8,000 square foot house, the points increase dramatically, or substantially. They go up to like 100 points. And things, as far as like having heated driveways. I mean, if you're heating your driveway, it takes 4 times the amount of hot water or power to heat a driveway as it does to heat the entire house for the same period of time. I mean, and so yes, there are greater requirements placed on those who want to be less environmentally friendly, perhaps, and the costs become greater. And the costs become greater because of the fact that then the expenses to all of us and to the environment and the use of our resources becomes significantly impacted. And I think it's a good program. It's in its infancy, but it will grow and people will find it much more convenient to use than they see at first blush.
Tom?
Yes, I've said that I think that an energy program is not a bad idea. I think this program has been created with some specific people's objectives in mind, which are not necessarily relevant to the best environmental goals that we could have. And I think that's, I see that in a couple of ways. I think the plan has not been well thought out. The plan is financed, in fact, by failure. There is nothing in the county budget to finance this plan other than if you do not meet these goals, then you pay a penalty, and that plan is financed through the failure of meeting these goals. It seems to me like a plan should be a little bit more positive than this. I think that energy use probably should be limited to a per house capacity, and we're using a lot more energy to do a 10,000 square foot house, obviously, than we are a 2,500 square foot house. So I think we need to think about whether we want people to be able to use more energy just because they have a larger house. Part of my feeling about this not being financed properly is there is no administration set up, and it's actually been said that there's just going to be one person who handles the administration, the education, and the policing of this. I don't think that can happen with one person. I think the county needs to have planned better to do this. I think we need a goal to accomplish, not just a point system that we're ticking off. That doesn't necessarily get us where we want to be. I'm looking to save energy. If we're going to save energy, I see no reason at all to heat driveways from the grid system or from a gas source. So I think unless somebody has their own source of doing something like that, I don't think that should be pulled off of non-renewable energy sources at all.